recrystallization, right? Recrystallization of any compound, right? Or your prepared compound in your, we are right now preparing number of organic compounds. You have prepared number of organic compounds, right? So at the end of the procedure, every compound, they always recommend us that you need to recrystallize it because you have a crude product. Why do we need? First of all, you should know that why do we need recrystallization? Because we are having an impure compound and we need to purify it. And how we can purify it? By the method. This is one of the methods of the recrystallization, right? This is one of the methods of purifications. Recrystallization is one of the methods of purifying your organic compound in your lab, right? In this way, and before recrystallization, what do we call the compound? What the compound is called? Loudly, crude product. Crude product. So crude product is formed, and somebody can ask you what is a crude product and what is a recrystallized product. So you can tell the difference between them. So now, what happens that when you prepare an organic compound and you go through all the processes of synthesis, right? Now you have a precipitate. You have a solid product in the end, right? All of you have seen that you have precipitates, right? Now these precipitates are, they have, you can say when during the formation of these precipitates, we can call it a lattice. Lattice is forming. So now what happens? This lattice, Lattice, a lattice. It's a lattice type thing that is forming, right? This is called a lattice. A crystal lattice or any other type of a lattice. But what happens? It's a mass, a solid mass that is formed in the end. But what happens during the process of its formation, it is constantly catching impurities. They are also coming and getting binding from here. They are coming and binding together with the particles. The impurities are binding themselves with the pure particles and they are forming a lattice. So now what happens? That some of these impurities are soluble, right? They are water soluble or they are solvent soluble. So when you simply go through all the process, they simply go into the solution. But some remains as a solid product. So how you can take them out? By filtering them out. When you see that after, going through all the process, you see a lot of particles floating inside it, or few particles are still there. That means these are solid impurities and they are not at all insoluble. So you need to do what? No, filtration. After recrystallization, I'm asking. That means filtration. These are those impurities which are not soluble in your recommended solvent. These things can be asked from you at any moment of your examinations, whether in your first year, second year, third year, final year, because nobody is that much perfect in recrystallization processes. People do it, but they are not good in it because we are not having the pure compound, so we are not getting the good results. But this is actually what happens. So we remove the impurities by the method of recrystallization, and still if you got the impure product, if still in the product you see that we have recrystallized the compound, but still there are few particles that are still floating in it, you filter it down and you remove those insoluble impurities by the method of filtration. Otherwise, if all dissolved, you just simply leave it there and wait to get it solidified, right? So this is how. So today we are going to start with our compound, the recrystallization of the compound, that is benzoic acid. Now benzoic acid is like, aromatic carboxylic acid, right? Its structure is like this. It has got a carboxylic group attached to a benzene ring. So it's an aromatic compound, pure organic compound. It's white in structure. It's in a powder form. Where it is? Can you show me? So where is the compound? Please stop. Now this is benzoic acid. You can see in the, it is in the powder form, right? It is all white in color. You can see its structure before, its form, its state before recrystallization. Now this is called a crude product. This is a crude product, right? You can see, I think everybody should see. आप भी देख लो बेटा. देख लिया सबने कैसा होता है, ठीक है? Now this is totally impure. It needs to be recrystallized, and it needs to be, and this is not even called a crude product because ये तो पता नहीं क्या है, I don't know. लेकिन खैर, Let's, for that, what we are going to need, we are going to recrystallize it in water, distilled water, right? Because it can easily be recrystallized in this water. The solvent we have chosen here is water, right? You'll be needing a funnel, you'll be needing this conical flask or a filtration flask, you can call it, a measuring cylinder, and a glass rod, and of course, 2 to 3 beakers we need. Sometimes we need 1 beaker or sometimes 2. It just depends what we are doing right now, right? So the first step of the recrystallization is that you need to warm the water, right? You have to warm it a little bit. So just warm it. And in this, we are going to add, without measuring, as it is, we have to make a saturated solution, right? We do not need to right now measure it. Well, when you are doing it, or when you are preparing any, recrystallizing your compound, you will weigh the compound and you will be knowing it, how much of it. So let's suppose it's 2 grams or 1 gram. Let's see, I think we need to get more, not 2 to 3 grams. I asked him for a bigger beaker, but he brought this one. Okay, so you need to warm your solvent before adding it into your your compound to be recrystallized. ठीक है, आपने जो solvent होता है उसको warm करना होता है. It should not reach the boiling point, but it has to be boiled, because you know why it is so, that the compound that is, when you, I forgot to tell you one thing very important. If, for example, you have a product, right? Now you have to recrystallize it. You took a solvent, any solvent, and you put it inside and you start dissolving it right here. You started dissolving it. Now what happens? The product, it vanishes immediately, right? Immediately in the room temperature. That means that solvent is not at all appropriate. It should take time in recrystallizing. As much time as it will take, your product will be more purer. Keep that in your mind. That solvent is not at all appropriate. That solidifies immediately at the room temperature, but the one only crystallizes, that gives you crystals in the pure form, is the one that is, you get it, when you warm the solvent. The compound that is dissolved in the room temperature is not at all the appropriate solvent that you have used in, right? You need to have such a solvent that when you warm the temperature, because solubility increases with the temperature, right? Just keep that in mind. When the solubility is increasing, the temperature is also increasing. Keep that thing in your mind. Temperature is increasing, solubility is increasing. Temperature is lowering down, solubility will lower down, and you will get the crystals. You will cool off and you'll get the crystals. You'll get your pure product. This is it. So let's try first in the this is cool water. So let's try first the cool water. What happens? Let's see. अच्छा मूंखे तो एक कम कर मूंखे वॾो ॾे बीकर नंढो बीकर तूं मूं तोखे चयो वॾो बीकर ॾे. Just see, I am dissolving it, but it is not dissolving. It is not dissolving. You can see, because let's put more water. I have increased the volume of the solvent to see if it is dissolving. I'm not changing the beaker because this is very small and we are not getting the product in the correct form. So let's warm a bit. Now I'm warming it, okay? Okay, now you can see clearly I'm trying to dissolve it at the room temperature, but still you can see it is not dissolving. Just see the compound, it's not dissolving. It has a foam, it's not in a, it should be clear. Is it clear? No. It's all foamy, right? The precipitates are all floating. You can see the precipitates, sorry. So let's now, instead of warming this, let's now warm this one. Okay, sometimes the solvent bumps out, so this is how you have to stir. So this rod, it prevents the bumping also, right? And the stirring should be like this, the way I'm stirring it. Let's see if it gets clear. If we get a clear solution, that means our impurities were all soluble, water soluble, they just got dissolved. But if we are not getting, I mean the whole compound is not dissolved, that means we need to filter it. So let's see what happens. Let it get warm for a while. It's water, and water is not that volatile, that's why it's not bumping. But if it would have been alcohol, you would not be using a burner. You will be needing another heat source. What is that heat source? A water bath. I'm trying my level best to dissolve it. But see, it's still not dissolving. That means it's quite a saturated solution. Fine, no problem. See, you can see the compound is still floating, though it's almost bubbling, it's boiling. Still, you can see it's not at all dissolving. Now there are two possibilities. We can, make it dissolve, we can add more water to it, or we simply filter it and we will get the precipitates. I'm trying now my best to dissolve it at high temperature, but no. See, it's almost bubbling. Never leave a organic solvent without a glass rod. Put a glass rod here so that it will prevent bumping. You can see still it's floating in. You can see the compound still down, and a foam. This is a foam, and the compound is still down. So that means it's not dissolving now anymore. So prepare filter for filtration. We are going to filter it. I just wanted to reduce the volume a little bit. Okay, when you have a lot of solvent, if you have by mistake or if by chance you have used a lot of solvent, what you are going to do, you can reduce the solvent level. Now here we have solvent, quite enough solvent, so we can reduce it and you can get the crystals. This is also one of the conditions. When you are not getting any crystals, what you are going to do in recrystallization, you should reduce the level of your solvent. Solvent को कम कर दे तो आपका product आ जाएगा. ये आपको सब possibilities I'm telling you, all the possibilities. ये भी हो सकता है, ये भी हो सकता है, because every time you get new result with the same compound even. Sometimes that happens. See how I'm constantly stirring because I don't want this solvent to bump out. That's why. Though it's water, I know it's not, but still water also sometimes, boils vigorously. But still you just see that it is not at all dissolving. Just see, it is not at all dissolving. You can see the crystals are still there. And you can see here, this is the recrystallized product. It is already forming. This is the product. Can you see this?
Yes, yes.
What are these? These are the precipitates of a pure form. But we are not. हम इसको मौका नहीं दे रहे कि ये अभी प्योर होके दिखाए. No, we want to reduce some solvent. और हम आखिरी हद तक we want to see कि शायद ये बिल्कुल clear हो जाए. It will become a clear solution. Let's see. But see, here it is recrystallizing. Just see the walls. give it a boil, and now I'm going to filter it. थोड़ी help करो मेरी बच्चों, पकड़ के रखना जबान and give me something. इसको मैं पकड़ूंगी किससे? It's very hot. मैं टॉन्ग दे जाऊँ? नहीं टॉन्ग तो गिरेंगे बेटा. Leave it. Please close this fire. Flame. Close this flame. कभी तुम बहुत परफेक्ट हुआ करते थे, अब हम जलेंगे 100% लगा. Be careful. छोड़ दो. Leave it. This is ordinary filtration. This is called an ordinary filtration. This is simply you are using a funnel. And what is the difference between suction filtration and ordinary filtration? A vacuum filtration takes less time and you get crystals in seconds. Vacuum crystallization because vacuum filtration because it sucks out with the help of pressure, right? But here we are doing a normal recrystallization. This is simplest way, classical method. You can see the precipitates down. Still they are, very ठंडा पानी का हुआ कुछ इंतजाम? ले आओ बेटा, हो गया सिस्टम. इसमें ठंडा पानी डालो या वो वाटर बाथ देखो है इसके पास, क्या कर रहा है इसने? हमें पता है क्या चाहिए था? Stemless funnel. Now I want to tell you this is a funnel which has a long stem, right? For such type of products, ऐसे compounds जो एकदम recrystallize हो जाए उनके लिए हमें ये stemless funnel use करनी होती है. Stemless. It has got no stem. So what happens? The compound does not recrystallizes in the stem. उसमें block नहीं हो जाता. इसमें कुछ blockage हो रही है. But sometimes it does not block. So we use a stemless funnel. I can ask you in your exam, what is the difference between a funnel with a stem that has got a long tube, it's called a stem, and what is a stemless funnel? And what are the difference between the two? तो स्टेमलेस जो होती है उसके अंदर वो जमेगा नहीं ज़्यादा. देयर इज नथिंग टू ब्लॉक. वो एकदम से नीचे ऑटोमेटिकली आ जाएगा, राइट? सो still you see the compound is recrystallizing as it is getting cold. The benzoic acid is recrystallizing here, but we do not want it that way. See the beautiful crystals, see the color and see the shiny crystals. Just look at the shiny crystals. देखें सब लोग, just see the color, how they are shining. Can you see the shine?
Yes.
Yeah, मुझे ही नजर आ रही है. I don't know the direction of the light. And can you feel the difference between this compound and this compound now?
Yes.
A visible difference. Okay, so almost done. We don't have that much time, so let's cool down. Now we have a cool water, so I'm immersing this flask into this cool water for a while. Let's see what happens. It will just fasten the process of crystal formation, right? So that's why I'm putting it here for some time. So let's see. We would have been having the, what do you call it, ice, तो ये बहुत जल्दी बनता. Fast gets hotter. अब ये भी गर्म होता जा रहा है. My hands, I can't show in camera anymore. See how you have to swirl it in the water, but just focus it here. I'm swirling it inside it, right? And sometimes you need to just leave it in there undisturbed so that crystals should form. But here we have now, a scientist comes to know that what is the speed of crystalline the compound, right? So we have already judged that no, our compound is crystallizing very fast. So we do not need to, put it undisturbed. We can, swirl it a little bit more. हम इसको हिला जुला सकते हैं because हमारे बड़े जल्दी जल्दी बन रहे हैं crystals. हमें परवाह नहीं है because we have seen the nature of our compound that it can be recrystallized easily. लेकिन what the compounds we are preparing, they will take a little bit difficulty when you are going to use other solvents. It's just the manipulation of solubilities, right? कौन सा solvent किधर solvent, you know. Now see the crystals. Can you see? So this is your crystallized product, crystallized benzoic acid. These are all beautiful crystals. Now what you are going to do, leave it there for at least half an hour, right? And then filter out the pure crystals. This is the, and ये आपने करना है इसके बाद. You will do it, right? And then take the picture of it and show me. I will add it to this video. But you can see the beautiful crystals. Everyone can see. Girls, देखो. आप इनको अच्छी तरह से कर लें. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's great. आप देखें. Achieved your product after, we have done recrystallization of benzoic acid and we got the fine, beautiful, shiny crystals in the end, right? So this is the way how you are going to recrystallize every compound, right? These are the basic steps which you need to follow for any compound, right? Keep that thing in your mind. I hope you have followed, you have learned, yes, and you can now recrystallize your products easily. Okay. Thank you very much.